I like the way all ages seem to integrate, sort of, you're not old, you're not young, you're not middle. Everybody sort of integrates very well.
I like it, it's a very friendly church, it's very welcoming. I like the style of the worship, I like the people that lead the church, and I like the way that they want and encourage people to get involved with things like youth work or the children's work as well.
Enjoy the worship, enjoy the friendship. It's also good being close to home.
You get to meet new people.
I love the people. They're brilliant, and they're a really good laugh, they're good friends, they're solid, they're committed, they're just a real good bunch of folk.
Meeting different faces, like and talking and getting out and doing the road.
It's very relaxed, it doesn't have any strict rules, about time to come, because with me being disabled, I can't always get here at a specific time.
Next.
We love it.
I like the freedom of worship, which is absolutely great. The fact that they send lots of people out on mission work, which is wonderful. There's lovely support groups. Well, I can't say enough for it. I think it's great.
We used to belong to Heaton, Elam, and they wanted to start to build a church in Whitley Bay. So there was a few of us came down from Heaton, and we started this church in Whitley Bay.
Well, I came at the very beginning. I always longed for a church here in North Shields or this district. And I was worshipping in the Heaton church, and it was a bit far away for common worship. So I was in touch with the headquarters of Elim, asking if they would want a church down in Whitley Bay. And they responded, and we began the church with only 6 or 7 people, very few. And with those people we had to pay the pastor, pay the electricity and gas bills, and we really didn't have anything at all. We had to throw ourselves on the Lord's mercy and ask Him to guide us. And as you see, He's responded so well.
And we started the campaign on the 4th of September at the Playhouse. And
it was a very, very busy time,
very
wasn't it?
Busy
because
time. Hectic.
Alec T was doing the campaign, and he had done a lot of groundwork and information about Whitley Bay. And although we had lived in the northeast, we honestly didn't know an awful lot about Whitley Bay. But when we met with him, and he told us that he had found out that at that time, 1976, 30,000 people lived in Whitley Bay, and he wanted them all to hear that there was going to be an evangelistic mission in the Playhouse, and that everyone would be invited.
We returned from holiday in the summer of 1976 and found an invitation in our post to meetings that were going to be held in the local cinema in the Playhouse.
So there was a lot of preparation and a lot of prayer, really on our knees, praying about this coming campaign, which started on a Sunday evening in the Playhouse, which was absolutely packed with people.
The mission was well attended at the Playhouse, as I remember, and an emphasis of the mission was that that there is available to us healing from God,
And it was actually that week at the Playhouse that I met Ray Gibson. She was our very first convert, really, that week. And I met her in the street, and she was crying. And I just spoke to her and I asked her, "Are you all right? You know, is there anything we can do? Why are you crying?" And she said her dad was dying of cancer.
My dad had cancer, and we wanted to save him. We knew Brian, Brian and Jennifer, and they were at the church, and we said, "Come on, we'll go along." And they says, "Anybody who wants to come to the Lord, come forward." So I went forward, and my mum went forward, and that's how we came to know the Lord.
And that's how and Ray came into the campaign, and she became a Christian and went home, and her mum became a Christian, and we visited her dad in hospital, and we had the privilege of praying with him before he died.
Elam had by then purchased the former Baptist church, which had become vacant as they had moved to larger premises. And so a church was started in the building there.
But there was only about 10 of us, so we just did everything, And gradually, as more people came, the funny thing was, everybody that came in seemed to be able to do something. They seemed to be able to sing, they seemed to be able to play guitar, or, everybody seemed to be handpicked or something,
The worship was different from what we'd been used to, and we were just drawn to it, and we just felt the presence of God there. So we just wanted to be there as much as possible. It was quite a new experience for us. We'd always enjoyed going to church and worshipping, but this time we just seemed to want to go more and more.
There was also a great sense of anticipation and excitement, really, at being involved in a new venture such as this. So there was a good heart and spirit. The pioneer pastor was Brian Stevenson, and with his wife Jennifer, they put a lot of work into it. They were warm in their relationships with people, and the meetings were attractive. There was a sense of God's presence with us right from the very beginning.
Apart from a handful that had come from the Newcastle church, because I lived in, like Bruce and Marjorie, they didn't know much about prayer and Bible study. So I found myself having to preach twice on a Sunday, do the Bible study midweek and preach or teach at that. The prayer meeting was the same, they didn't know really how to pray, teaching them how to pray. So it was really very intense from my point of view, having to prepare all these sermons, teachings.
In due course, the parent and toddler group was started, and also a play group, which was for children just a little bit older. And members involved in running that took training in order to be able to do it well.
We had a play group. There was about 20 children. So Jennifer Stevenson, who was the pastor's wife, she was involved in that, and Pauline Dunn. And we did have other helpers. I think we had the mothers, and we must have run that for about 2 years, and that was quite challenging, but it was good fun. But the time came when we didn't have enough helpers, and we had to close that. And it was later, I think, that the mother and toddler group started, and that has continued right up to the present day. And I think that's been a very positive contribution to the church.
Well, it was very enthusiastic. Everybody was very enthusiastic, there's no doubt about it. And I'd kind of been brought up as a Christian in a more traditional style church. So to see people so passionate about their faith was quite eye-opening and quite infectious, really. So I found it a very pleasant place to be. Probably about 40, 50 people, but it was very pleasant. I think people were very positive.
Monday night was ladies' prayer night. That was the share and care night. Tuesday was the church prayer meeting, which you preached and then we prayed. Wednesday night was Bible study night. a preach and a pray. Wednesday afternoon was the ladies' meeting, which I'll tell you a funny story about that. There were several funny things happened in it. It was so funny. Friday was cleaning day, because we didn't have a caretaker, we didn't have, so we were, so Fridays we spent all day at the church polishing and cleaning, and we used to buy fish and chips up the road and sit and have those in the church, just the two of us sit and have that. And then it was back to Sunday again.
It was quite sparsely furnished compared with how it is now, and there must have been pews. No, were there pews?
We still had old pews in it, facing this end of the actual church. Right. So as you came in the doors, you looked at the front of the church, rather than as you do now, as you come in and you turn to the right, you see the front of the church.
I suppose there must have been pews.
Well, we had the pews and the organ, we still had the organ in then.
It's such a long time ago, 30 years.
So we sat in pews and faced the side of the church. So that was quite interesting. It probably made the services a little bit more intimate, because people weren't kind of sitting so far back, but you're sitting on pews as well.
And I remember the big organ at the top. Yes, and I suppose it was just more of a traditional church. In those days it had been a Baptist church. But I think because there were just a few of us, we did have a lot of the services in the church hall.
Well, one of the things that we got busy with almost straight away was a renovation scheme.
So we didn't use the main church in the winter because it was just so very cold. We could use it in the summer, and in the winter we just used to sit in the minor hall here around a Cala gas fire and try and keep warm.
There were grants available to help take people who were unemployed, who could work in the renovation work. And so we set up a project with government grants, and a lot of work was undertaken to improve the appearance of the place.
The kitchen, oh dear, at the beginning it was absolutely terrible. There was wooden cupboards all around, just falling off the walls. And I think there was a lot of damp in the cupboard where the boiler was. And when I think about it, we actually made lots of food in there. It's a good thing health and safety rules weren't the same then as they are now. But, oh yes, I remember the time when we all did get food poisoning. The Gideons had just come. We hadn't been in church very long, I don't think, and it was a faith lunch, and it was June, so it was quite warm. So everybody had been really good and brought all the food, and we ate it and cleared away, and we all enjoyed it. And then that evening, we kept getting phone calls to say that people were not feeling very well, to say they weren't well and they wouldn't be able to come to the meeting that night. And then Harold took it. So he wasn't feeling very well. And our visitors were supposed to be going off that day. And I remember Harold just sitting on the bottom stair of our house saying, "Goodbye, sorry I don't feel very well." So I took them up to the station. And then that night, I think there were only about 7 people actually at the meeting. It was a bit of a disaster.
I wasn't there right at the start, but when I joined, the leader was Martin Reeves, and he was 27 years old, he kept telling me, and he had a lovely wife, Heather, and I stayed with them for 3 or 4 weeks. And I remember Martin because he used to kind of lead the singing as well, because he got a good voice, and he's a very good preacher. After Martin, which is quite a surprise when Martin moved on, he said he felt that he'd done what he could do, and I think there was probably a little gap before the next person came, Dave Smith. I knew his name. Yeah, when Dave Smith came in, and obviously he was quite young himself. I think he was about 26 when he came in, and he was quite a mover and shaker. He liked to see things get done. And he obviously didn't like the organ, so got rid of the organ. And he did a lot, really, because the church was in debt because of the start and, getting the building. And he did a lot to help the congregation get rid of that debt. and that was very helpful. He's a very good speaker as well, actually. Quite a dynamic personality.
The pews went out, the organ went out, the choruses came in, the hymns went out.
I think like Martin Reeves, he kind of took the church onto the next stage, did everything that he needed to do. I mean, he was only around for about 2 or 3 years, I think, but did make his impact before he moved on.
It's been interesting because there have been, different ministers during the time we've been here, and if you like, we have seen growth under each minister, and then sort of a drop back, and then growth, and a drop back, and then growth.
Everybody left to go and go to Bible college and go on the missions, and so we had to start all over again.
2 by 2, they went away and served in other lands, other places. We thought we were getting on so well, and then 2 of them left to go to Nepal. And it was a desperate time, really trusting in the Lord in everything we did.
At one point, the church was going through quite a dark period, and it was hard work staying at the church, but we stayed because both of us felt this is where God's called us.
At one point we did go down to under 10, I think, which made life a little bit difficult for us, but it started to build up again to what it is today, which is very good.
In the course of time, there was a youth group started, and Tim Sokal was involved in that and active in leading that work. And we had a small group of teenagers who showed quite a lot of interest and were with us for quite a long time.
I think possibly when Phil Glover first came, he came for 9 months, and that was, 20 years ago or something? I think they were big changes because the youth got involved then, and our youth started to grow, and I think every church needs young people in it.
I think when I first came, first thing I remember, it was like an open youth club. So it had all kinds of different people within that setting, and so I think that there wasn't a lot of kind of depth spiritually within that. It was far more outreach orientated. But I think that as time went on, we've had more kind of youth groups where the goal has been for young people to grow in their faith as much as it is to reach out. Obviously, 9th Hour started at Acorn Christian Fellowship, formerly White Friday, so the fact that the church started that, or it started at the church, I think is a very positive memory for me, and also I think a landmark in the church as well, where obviously it grew out of the church, but once a month to have 200 young people in the church was a very positive thing. So I think that Acorn has punched above its weight when it comes to youth work and many other areas, and I think that their attitude towards young people has been an example to many churches.
Especially over the last 10 or 12 years, we have been involved in missions overseas, and invitations have come, opportunities have come to visit and link up with Christians in Poland, in Romania, in India, South Africa, especially Kenya, where we're actively involved at present, Tanzania, and a number of other places. For me personally, as well as an enormous spread of others in the church going to many more countries besides that.
I think the very first mission I got involved with was Harold asked me to have a read through the mission programme and see who I would like to get involved with, and I picked an orphanage in Honduras, which was at the very top of a mountain. When we got up there was 150 children, which was absolutely fantastic. They were very poor and they had a very hard life. But Carol and I went there and we had a lovely time. One day I went to my daughter's church in Luton and heard all about Romania, and my heart jumped and I realised this was where God was sending me. So I went out there, and it turned out there was a lovely pastors from Newcastle which I got involved with. I didn't know these people. I met them in Romania, and we got involved and we started a feeding programme out there, feeding all the old people, and even now we feed over 700 people every month.
We spent a few years trying to plant a church in Blythe, and George Laffey and his wife Phil put a tremendous amount of work into that and ran it really quite successfully for a year or two. The little embryo church had to close eventually, mainly because of some key people moving away and others no longer feeling that they could carry the work. But while it was going for several years, 3 or 4 years, it provided a very useful and helpful meeting point for the people in that locality. And some of them, in fact, when the church in Blythe was closing down, they came through and for years were part of the work in Whitley Bay.
I had wonderful support from Acorn. It didn't matter what I felt God was asking me to do, people would get involved, whether it was in a big way or a small way. I had people like Frida who would help on, I would do a Christmas fair and Frida would do the cake stall. I had Margaret Craig who would open a house for any reason that I asked, and we did strawberry teas or soup and stotty or spiritual things like having lovely a day of prayer in a house.
I like the way that it serves a lot of people abroad. I think that it's blessed a lot of people in many different countries. And I think that it's been a kind of a sending church. I think it's been an unselfish church in that some of the, dare I say, probably more prominent gifting people have kind of done their service outside of the church with the church supporting that.
Yes, I think it was obviously taken as an outreach for the Lord, to meet people and to introduce them to the Lord. And that was the main emphasis of the church. But we discovered that we sort of, what was the expression we used?
We ploughed the fields and scattered.
Ploughed and scattered, because two people and then another two people, and then another two people went off to Bible college, so we lost good teaching people, good being. Other people went off in the mission field, so we lost another couple to go to Nepal. So we found initially that was a bit difficult, and then we thought, well, that's great, because God's bringing these people in to send them out.
Just like helping out, and I like coming to this church because of the people who are in it, and focus on God because He's the most important person that you've got to focus on. And also, I remember when I first came to church, it wasn't carpets and it wasn't blue seats like this. It was brown plastic chairs and it had wood flooring, and Claire's trying to make me laugh in the background there. And it was a lot colder than it is now, and there was not very many pictures on the wall, and it was just a plain church. Putting the extra colours on the wall and the carpet and giving us comfortable chairs is giving it a much more environment.
The paint on the wall changes a lot. But yeah, it's alright. I preferred it when it was pink. Yeah.
I think it's important to have a mother and toddler group. I always found them a bit of a lifeline. I think it can be quite an isolating time for people in their lives if they've had busy careers and been around people, and all of a sudden they're at home with a young child with nowhere to go. And toddlers can be quite, difficult, so it's not easy to take them along to regular places, to maybe cafes or restaurants, and so to provide an environment where you can let your child play freely, they're safe and you can relax a bit. I think it's a really important thing for mums. Well, when I first started working at the toddler group at Acorn, I wasn't a Christian, and people at Acorn wanted a Christian running the group, and so they prayed that a Christian would come, and probably that I would go and a Christian would lead the group. But it meant a lot to me because obviously I became saved through doing the work here. And at the time as well, I think, I was at quite a low point and I needed structure, I needed a focus, and I needed something to be doing, and toddlers gave me that. It gave me a kind of a purpose through the week, and so it was a lifeline to me at both ends, both just coming to it and running it. Well, usually I arrive first and set up the large play equipment and the smaller stuff, and the other mums arrive with their children, and it's really just an environment for mums to come and have a coffee and a chat, and the children can play freely and get to learn how to get along with one another and learn how to share, and they have their fights and things, but it's usually a pretty good morning.
I've been coming here since Sam was a baby, and he's now at nursery school, so I come here now with my second boy, and which is, about 3.5 years I've been coming here for, and it's always really friendly. I love everybody that helps run it. I like getting a hot cup of tea in the morning because I never get a chance at home, and I love being able to talk to other mums, and it's different people here than I normally see, and it's just a really friendly place.
I remember one day being told by somebody in the church that they'd been in a waiting room, at the children's waiting room at the hospital, and some mums were discussing toddler groups, and one mum said, you should come to Acorn because I find it a really encouraging group to be at. And so it's nice when you get that kind of feedback, and quite often, you see the mums sort of encouraging one another, and they're building friendship groups within that, and you think, well, we facilitated that because we've provided that environment, so it's an encouraging environment generally.
I really like it because it's very informal. There's no waiting list of names and all of this other stuff that I've had with a lot of other places. And people are very friendly, and it's a real sort of social thing for me now. I come with certain people, and I've arranged to meet up here. Abby absolutely loves it. She doesn't like leaving at the end. It's been great help for Abby, getting her used to bigger groups of children all at once, because there's only her at home. So I think it's really helpful. It's been excellent.
I like coming and being with the children and being able to give a bit back, because when I had children at toddlers and I had 2 children, it was sometimes difficult when they both needed you at the same time. So I thought, you know, if I could come along and be an extra pair of hands to help out, that's good.
Usually at the end of term we'll try and have like a teddy bears picnic at the beach, and throughout the year we organise a mum's night out, so the kids can be left home with dad or whoever, and we'll try and go out for a pizza or things like that. So
spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Right.
I'm involved with a cell group, but the most important thing I feel I've done within the church is Master Life discipleship groups. I've never really thought about the benefit for me personally, more on the benefit it brings to the people who come to the course, but I suppose one of the benefits that I have found is that I'm learning more. To be a teacher or a leader, I have to learn, and I think that's really one of the things I have found.
I'm Wendy Glover, and I am the leader of a team that work with Sunday School. Pencil case full of loads of stuff. Is that okay? Yeah, so we'll give you a round of applause. Part of the beauty of the Sunday School Acorn Community Fellowship is very much a team, and it's very much a case of leading like-minded people and just coordinating them. The Sunday school, it happens during a morning service. So the children will have come with their parents or carers, or some of them will have come with friends. They are in church up until about 11:15. Then at 11:15 they're invited to go through into the minor hall. Then there are the 3 groups that make up the majority of Sunday school, and the 3 to 4 year olds, 3, 4s and 5-year-olds, and then 6, 7 in the middle group. 6 and 7-year-olds will be in the middle group, and then the 8s, 9s and 10s are in an older group. And there are different teachers for the different age groups, and they work in teams. So there will be some months a particular team, and then the next month a different team.
It's got bigger. Okay, what do we do now? We all sit down. Sit yourself down. Sometimes we can reflect. And it can be all pretty, isn't it? Wow, look at, that was huge. Yeah, should we try one more?
In terms of the example that Jesus set, in terms of the fact that he would have us all come to him as children, I do think that for me, that's where I start. There is this responsibility. We have a responsibility as a church to children, and to allow them to meet Jesus in a childlike way.
I am God. You're not God. Very, very Afternoon.
I'm Jessica and I'm 5 years old.
Okay. Can you tell me, what do you like about Sunday school?
I like making things.
Okay, speak nice and loudly. What's your name and how old are you?
Rebecca, and I'm 7.
Okay. And what sort of things do you like doing at Sunday school?
I quite like singing and making stuff.
You have to put a ring around where the soul is, and then I'll put this out.
We also have tea
sometimes you have
That's good, okay. And do you like coming to church?
Yeah.
Why do you like coming to church?
Because there's lots of fun things to do. I quite like it because I learn about God and Jesus and I believe in him so much.
And then just being in Sunday school with when they come through and they're so excited. They just, so excited to be there and just, they work really well together. I think it's nice when they do connect.
Yes. Look. Give love to people, yes. How would you do that? Yes, very good. Jess. Jess. Now. I'll try something sticky. The first thing is that you are like the light for the whole world. A city built on top of a hill that cannot be mixed city.
I'm Bethany Bull and I'm 10 years old and I've been coming to the church for 4 years.
What are you doing?
Making a sauce of rice with potatoes. This is Junior Salute.
Oh, yes. So what story have you had today?
I don't know. Forgot what it was called. That's what we do. Petrol? Yeah, it's like. It is a lava lamp. This is a plug. I need to get the blueberry. Come on.
Good. Very good.
What are you doing, Malachi?
I'm doing it. Look at ours.
What's yours, Jessica?
Ours is like a moustache.
It's what, sorry?
It's supposed to be a lamp, but it looks more like a toadstool. Even said don't put them in. I just like making all the things. Yeah. It's really good. And it's like alive and change. And I'm happy to come. That's not the
There is another group for slightly older children who are really from 11 up to 14. And that group is called RS2.
Right, we're doing about the news today and about news in the wider world. So to start off, we're just going to pretend read 3 things that we've done or 2 things that we've done this week. Like news report, yeah. So when you've got the wig on, then do your news report.
Yes,
That's right.
We'll play games and then we'll do like activities and stuff and eat sweets and learn about God and everything.
Countdown for 4 weeks anyway. Well, this week I went to the match yesterday, and again,
Did you win?
Disappointed. No.
Did you go to? Newcastle was Charlton.
Again.
How much Charlton and they lost?
No,
You
no.
can't ask news people questions.
Yeah.
No,
Unless you shout at the TV.
I went to Cracker, I went to Disney, and last night I went to see the Master.
You went to a disco? Hey.
Well, I helped run a youth program called Jam at Acorn, and that was like kids that were 15 to 18. And that was a couple of years ago, and then that kind of just fizzled out. We didn't really continue doing it, and they decided to get RS2 up and running. So I was just approached by Harold at the time. Me and Amanda wanted to be part of the youth, and been a part of it ever since.
The little professor.
I think it's
it's really good to be given something back into the church instead of just coming along and seeing what God's going to do for you. I think it's important to do stuff for God as well. And I think obviously we've grown up here. I feel it's good to make sure that the kids are enjoying it, getting stuff out of it.
I think church is really good because there's no real boundary between the young people and the older people. Everyone knows each other, everyone's friendly.
I like the fact that it's got stuff for all ages. Even if you're a really little kid, you can still come and learn about God.
Right, come, what's your news?
I played out with my friends. I'm 11 and I've been coming as long as I can remember. And I'm Caitlin.
Then on his news,
His birthday? That's what you do, you buy them something that you want to do. It's just either people that discuss things with and they really understand because they'll say it's fun as well.
Sometimes we have to go on trips and stuff to the beach and eat in sweets and stuff.
it's way too much effort for 10 seconds though.
Right. I've got a lot of stories about Johnny in particular. Okay. Spitting Play-Doh out in my face. He put a whole bowl of Play-Doh in his mouth and spat it out on me. Yeah.
My hope is that they love Jesus all their lives. My hope is that they will know what we know. They will know what I know, and they will know the security that Jesus brings. They'll know that whatever life throws at them, that Jesus is there, that God is way beyond their understanding, way beyond their experience.
And I know it's helped a lot because I've certainly been here, but obviously I know it's clever concern. It always gives us extra time to live. It's helped us. It's given us strength, nice to see it. Taking every day as it goes.
Yeah.
And every time I get up, I say thank you, Lord. Thank you for another day.
I'm getting a cool again.
There you go. This is the one. This is Chloe.
Hello, Chloe.
Say hello, Chloe. There. Say hi, Eva.
Chloe.
Say hi, smile.
Hello, Malachi.
Hello.
Malachi.
What do you like about the church then?
Well, I like about all the games there is in there. I like about all the I just like
like the Sunday school.
Yeah, like
things to do in Sunday school.
the things we do in Sunday school. Yeah, like things we do drawings and pictures about and cutting out about things about God, and we sing songs in there, and it looks nice on Sunday school.
I think trying to keep young people interested in church is a big challenge. A lot of young people have moved away from church because it can be seen quite boring. I'm Gary Tate. I'm the youth worker for the church. I run a number of youth clubs for the church. On a Sunday evening we've got a youth club called Metal, and this is for the 13 to 16 year olds. We meet here and we look at issues that affect their lives basically and how Bible relates to them now. So the format of the night, we come together, we have an informal game, we get to know each other a little bit more, and we look at the subject of the night, and then we go through into the small church hall where we've got the PlayStation 2, we have the table tennis table and the pool table, and we generally just have a sort of a youth club setting night there as well. I think for the kids that have come, they've sort of grown out of the church Sunday morning type of thing, and they want something that's a bit more relaxing for them, a bit more sort of a setting that's made for them. And I think the metal night gives them a setting that's for them, somewhere they can come and feel that's their own sort of place to be themselves. I think they get a lot of freedom. They're able to ask questions and they're able to build relationships up with the youth workers that come along. And I think one of the positive things about Metal is the youth workers that do come along. They're committed and passionate about seeing young people draw closer to God. It's called metal. It's metal, not like wood and metal. It's like metal with inside you. What metal you've got, like the guts type of metal. The program is to form character within young people, spiritual character within young people. So I think it's a popular name as well. It's pretty good.
I came on an Alpha course. I was invited to come to the church for dinner, and it was an Alpha course, and I stayed on the Alpha course and continued to come to the church for about a year, and then I was baptised.
But basically, I was directed here through a leaflet, Jim, Jesus and Me, that was put through my door, and I had previously met a young lady that stopped me in the street that came to that church. So I tied the two together and arrived here.
Well, it's been a popular church all the time, but it's getting more popular by every week and every day. Because my wife got us to come. My girlfriend at the time and wife. Just because I'm going and Christian, and if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't hear nothing about it.
Well, my name is Anne Walker, and I'm part of a team that leads Oasis, which consists of John, my husband, Phil and George. We work together really well, and we have a programme which we try to keep to, but we try to intersperse it with things like this coffee morning today.
Yes. It was easy to say don't.
You've got to be somewhere.
Well, I'm glad everybody did come.
Well, I'm John Walker. Oasis came to be in around 2000. We joined the church in 1999, and with George and Phil Laffey, Anne and I felt quite a burden, if that's the word, for the people who were a bit older in the church, and together we decided that we would start a meeting for them midweek. And the name Oasis came naturally to mind because it was an oasis for people to come and be refreshed and to get the word of God and to enjoy singing and praising God. Well, when we began, there were about 12 people in Oasis, and now there's between 20 and 30 who come every week. So as new people who joined the church, who are in the sort of age group between mid-40s and 80 odd, we invite them to come to Oasis, and they do. We have a time of coffee, like a coffee time, when there's chatting and welcoming people and talking to each other, which is quite important. And then we have a meeting with worship and praise and different kinds of presentation of the word. George tends to be a Bible teacher, so we get Bible teaching from George. I tend to be more of a discussion person, so we have discussion people with me. We sometimes have other people who come in, visiting speakers and things like that. And we also arrange outings on a day out or something like that, picnics. We visited different places. We try to make it as varied as we can. And we have a Christmas carol service and lunch, and we occasionally have a lunch where everybody comes and has lunch together. Pie and peas, fish and chips.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. The sign says it all. If they won't put it on your postcards on the stamps, you'll have to write it on the thing before you post it. All right. Well, we've only got what, a snowman for second class. First class stamp, Santa Claus sitting on the loo on the roof. You've seen that one, have you? Yeah.
Going back to the beginning of Oasis, we felt that whilst the church was thriving, many young people and a lot going on for them, there wasn't a great deal for the older people in the church. So one of the reasons we felt called to do this was to emphasise and give an identity to the older people in the church, and that has been a great success.
We have over the past 2 or 3 years gone to Minster Acres for a retreat. It is a Catholic monastery. A beautiful place, a very peaceful place, and a place where we've really enjoyed good fellowship, but we've had fun as well. The food's great and the trees are wonderful. Everybody says how wonderful the trees are, which are redwoods. So that's sort of part of the life of Oasis, the things that we do. And there's a very sort of caringness. People look out for them, which is really good, and there's a lot of friendships within Oasis.
Well, it's brought me much closer to the Lord. They sing all the old hymns, and I mean, when you have your lunch after 12, you sit at the table and talk to people, have your cup of tea and your sandwiches, and talk about old times and things like that. And it's really great.
With having back problems, I find in the evenings I tend to be very sore and tired, so I tend not to go to house groups. Where with Oasis being in the morning, it's much better for us, and we just find it so friendly and so relaxing and easygoing, and we just enjoy the worship and the fellowship, and having a lunch with each other afterwards.
Small groups, I love small groups actually, and I'm really glad that Acorn is a church in a sense of small groups, not just with small groups. I think that what has developed over the years is that it's not just an optional and extra in our church. In a sense, I think that the vast proportion of people now are in a small groups and see a reason for it.
Well, I'm just going to talk for a little bit about small groups.
very important part of our church life, because it's in small groups that we actually get to know each other a little bit better, and we perhaps can begin to minister to one another and be discipled and encouraged. And I've got two little helpers as well. Justine, where are you? Do you want to come up? And Lorraine, one on either side of me.
Yeah, the current small groups were set up about 2.5 years ago, following 40 Days of Purpose, or as part of that. I think we had about 10 groups then that worked through that project, and most of those have kept running. So the small groups are very much focused on applying God's Word. So usually we'd look at what's been preached on Sunday morning.
Basically, this is a little picture, if you like, of church life. If you come a bit closer, please do. That's very nice. You can imagine that we're a butterfly, okay? And I'm the kind of centre of the butterfly, and these are my two beautiful wings, my multicoloured wings. And if you like, Justine represents the larger church wing, the gathered church, if you like, the Sunday church, but not just the Sunday church, but the way in which together, as a whole group of 150, 170 of us, we reach out into the community, we do all kinds of special things. But that's the kind of larger church life. Lorraine represents the other half of the church life, which, if you like, is the day-to-day life of the church.
Each week follows a structure which is loosely based around the cell group principles, which we start with a welcome or an introduction, and that's usually a bit fun, a bit of question, finding out about each other. Then we have a worship time, which is usually without music. So it might be looking at something that's reflective or a meditation or something creative to do. Anything really that gives glory to God. And then we get into the Word and look at the application, how that affects our lives, if there's things we need to change, if there's things that we're challenged by, encouraged by, and that really is the heart of the small group.
It's a good way of getting to know people, because in a church situation you don't always get time to talk to people, and obviously in a smaller group you can get to know people better, and you know, learn what each other's needs are and pray for them, and support each other as well, and get good tea and coffee as well.
Certainly in our group, one of the biggest benefits is friendship. We really seriously have become really good friends, and that encourages a lot more fellowship, it encourages a lot more prayer, it encourages a lot more interdependence in a world where people don't want to depend on other people. You know, we really do. I think the other side of the coin is that it deepens us spiritually, because we can really talk things through at a level that you would just never get anywhere else.
Especially with Colin Rowan's group, it was so small that you can't sit in the corner and not say anything, you have to share. But it's good because you realise that, you know, you see people and you think they're sort of really holy and that, but they're not, they're just normal people. Just like me. Even the leaders.
I think one of the biggest challenges in a small group would be commitment. People, or it's very easy to dip in and out of things, but really small groups do demand commitment to the people there. We've always said a small group is more than a meeting, it's about the group of people. So sometimes that can mean being committed to turning up each week. In other ways, it can mean being committed to one another, to help out, to support people when things go wrong, to celebrate with people, anything really.
Actually, we found that our small group is really helped to support individuals that's come, so that like we've been able to disciple people, which we feel is like really, really important in a safe environment in which like people have been able to talk about their weaknesses and their strengths, which has been really important to develop them as people.
I think life would be the word that I'd sum them up in, because we're never going to communicate with people at that level, we're never going to discover more of God at that level, we're never going to really get to grips with some of the big issues of faith if it's not at that small group level. So I think it's the lifeblood of the church really, to get small groups functioning at an even better rate than they already are.
the church grows in size, 150 or so, not everybody can know everybody. So people need to belong somewhere, and I think that the fact that they can meet on a weekly basis or identify with a small group, turn up to church on a Sunday and know that there's a group of people there that they know quite well, I think helps a lot of people.
When we first came here, the church was the other way around. There was probably about 30, possibly 40 people most who attended. The platform was down the long length of the wall. We had a baby grand piano, which was played by a guy who's now left, and he goes to another church now. But he played, and there was a couple of singers. Just a couple of girls would sing, and he would play and lead the worship. There wasn't a band as such, it was a piano player and 2 singers. I did have this reputation, people knew me as a worship player, a worship piano player. And so after being coming 6 or 7 months, the lad that was playing the piano, he asked would I like to play. And so we agreed and made sure that he understood that I wasn't going to be pushing him out. And he played guitar after that. Not always with me, but sometimes on his own. And then I generally played piano after that. Shortly after that, another couple came who were still coming here, George and Phil Laffey. And Phil and me would take turns at playing piano for the worship band. But as things progressed, eventually I became the main keyboard player.
Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will sing. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name when the sun shining down.
It's developed in terms of skill, it's developed in terms of numbers. From the early days of just being 1 piano or 1 guitar and 2 singers, we now very fortunate to have 3 keyboard players, 5 guitar players, 2 of which are also keyboard players, and we still only have 3 singers. We have had more, but at the moment we have 3 singers, and we also have a percussion player.
Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Sing every blessing. Every blessing you pour out.
The church as well has grown in that time as well, and although you don't need a large number of people to effectively worship God, when there is a large number of people worshipping God from their hearts, it's really something else.
Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will sing. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of
I would like to see a real band that we're a group of musicians and we take turns at playing. I would like to see a regular band with a bass player and a drummer and perhaps a lead guitar player as well. But whichever direction God takes us in, He promised He'd be with us. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I'd love to see a development where people aren't frightened to make up their own words. It happens from time to time. I'd love to see it happen more. I'd like to see the presence of God just fill this place as we worship Him. We know that He does that because the Bible tells us, but sometimes I've been in meetings where you've known there's a tangible sense of God's presence, and that's what I'd like to see on a more regular basis rather than just now and then.
It's been very up and down. Lots of people come and go, and it's really true that in this year really, there's been a definite rise in the spiritual dynamism of this church this last year.
It was quite on fire, I found when I first came, and I found that the energy, as I put it then, the energy was very, very electric. And then I found, for me personally, about 2 or 3 years ago, it went very quiet, and then it's on fire again. That's how I found it.
I think there is something very positive in the future. I really feel God has got good plans for Acorn, and I think it's changed over the years, and I think it will still change. And I think with Phil and Wendy, there will be, it has a tremendous future.
I think a lot of successful churches that you see tend to focus, well, not necessarily focus, but tend to have their impact on particular age groups, and I think that Acorn is genuinely a church that accommodates all age groups. So I think a challenge is how we develop ministry to all those different age groups and exist as one church.
I believe that at the present time that the church is in the position where again it will be moving forward, and I expect that there is likely to be good growth, substantial growth over the next year or two in the congregation and in the scope of the ministry of Acorn. And there are many able people in the fellowship who would love to see that and to really have a heart to make things happen.
I think that a challenge for any church is to impact their own area today, and we need to find out through God's leading how we impact this generation of people, because we live in a postmodern era. We live in an age where people on the whole, or the media would say that Christianity has been didn't quite work. We obviously know and believe fully that the gospel has power to change people and to change society.
I think at the moment, Acorn is probably going through quite a transition. Having been here a long time, we seem to have got onto a bit of a ride again, and it's exciting, it's busy, there's a buzz in the air again, and I'm just really excited as to what God's going to bring from that.
Some of the things that are going on in Whitley Bay that we need to face up to the challenges is that it is getting, part of it is quite upwardly mobile in the sense that there's a lot of new buildings going up. So there's going to be a lot of people moving into this area, and I think that potentially a lot of professional people, because other parts of Newcastle like Jesmond and Gosforth are too expensive. So I think that we're going to have a lot of professional people moving into the area. But also need to bear in mind there's a lot of people who work in the area that maybe don't work. So there's all kinds of people groups and probably ethnic minorities that I think that are going to move into this area. So I think that we need to make the gospel relevant for all those different kind of people. The fact that the seafront is run down a little bit, I think that's probably a temporary thing. I think it's probably a little bit reflective of how people feel at this moment in time, but I do think that will change. So I think that the opportunity is great because the population is going to increase. People are going to be moving into the area, looking for a church, and I think it's up to us to kind of put ourselves on the map, I think, in Whitley Bay.